27-year-old Kyle Rigdon has been arrested and charged with murder in the fatal hit and run of his ex-girlfriend, 29-year-old Kayla Bowling. The incident occurred at around 11 a.m. on the 1st of June 2022, when the authorities responded to the 3000 block of South Rural Street in Indianapolis, Indiana, on reports of a cyclist down. When first responders arrived at the scene, they found Kayla laying in the driveway near a bike, suffering from injuries consistent with being hit by a car. Kayla was rushed to the local hospital in a critical condition, but by 11:45 a.m, she was pronounced dead. While at the crime scene, a neighbour provided officers with the license plate of the car that hit her, and Kyle was identified as a suspect. During their investigation, another neighbour said he'd seen Kayla on a bike the day before she was killed. He said a silver car blocked her in, and a man was yelling at her. According to the detectives, Kyle drove a silver Nissan Altima. Kayla's parents told the authorities that Kyle had been harassing their daughter, calling her, texting her and following her around. They said they saw him park his car at the front of their home, exit the vehicle with a butcher's knife and slash the tyres days before. They said that Kayla and Kyle had been dating on and off for about 6 months, but broke up about a month ago. She said that Kayla was terrified of Kyle, because he seemed to know where she was at all times. Kayla's mother told the police that she found Kyle to be controlling. She was aware of domestic issues and fights between the two, and said that Kayla had confided in her several times that Kyle was going to kill her. Her parents said that the day before her death on the 31st of May, Kayla got into a screaming match with Kyle on the phone. She told him to stay away and that their relationship was over. At around 11:30 p.m. that night, Kyle knocked on a window, and she told him to leave or she'd call the police. That same night, Kyle sent Kayla a Facebook message which read, "Have fun with whatever you got going on tonight. Tomorrow will be your biggest wake-up call of your life." On the 1st of June, Kyle showed up at work and let his employer know that he heard his girlfriend. He requested that his co-worker say that he'd been at work since 10 a.m, although he didn't show up until midday. His employer contacted the authorities after learning of Kayla's death. On the 3rd of June, the authorities spotted Kyle driving his car along the 4100 block of West Michigan Street and followed him onto the Interstate 65 before pulling him over. Officers spotted front-end damage on the left bumper along with grass and dirt on the car. He was arrested and taken into custody in connection to the fatal hit and run, and is charged with Kayla's murder. On the 9th of June 2022, 30-year-old Keisha Lee has been sentenced to 18 years in prison for the murder of 2-year-old Melody Vang. The events came to light at around 2:30 a.m. on the 10th of January 2021, when the authorities responded to a home located at 1033rd Street East in St. Paul, Minnesota, on reports of an incident at home that required a crisis officer. When officers arrived at the scene, they encountered the girl's father, who immediately asked the officers to keep it down, as his 2-year-old daughter was not alive. When officers asked where his daughter was, he said he didn't want his other children to see the girl, so he and his wife wrapped the little girl's body in a blanket, and he took her body to the back porch so it wouldn't smell, he said. The deputies went to the back where they found Keisha with her dead daughter's body. Asked what happened, Keisha told them that she lost her temper because Melody kept crying and waking her other child. The girl was only wearing a diaper and her body was wrapped in bedding and a rug. The little girl was cold to touch and rigor mortis had set in. She had large bruises to her face and body, as well as a significant amount of cuts and scratches covering her body. While questioned, Keisha told the investigators that I just kept hitting her. She said she punched her too many times because the girl wouldn't stop crying. She also said she put her hand over the baby's mouth to stop her from crying, but it didn't work, so she continued hitting her out of anger. She said she eventually picked the girl up, hit her some more, and threw her lifeless body into the timeout closet. There were 5 other children ranging from 8 months to 11 years of age at the home, who were placed into the care of Child Protective Services. All the children had previously been in foster care and had only recently been returned to the custody of their parents. The child's father told police that his daughter got spoiled in foster care and regularly acted out. He added that Keisha typically disciplined her child by hitting her with an open hand or locking her in the hallway closet, and said he had recently seen Keisha beat her with a stick that was 2 feet long and ½ an inch thick. He said he hadn't seen her beat her that evening. Keisha admitted to causing all the severe bruising on her daughter's body, some of which was inflicted before the fatal beating. She said she lost her temper and that the girl was stubborn just like her, and said her daughter was a little bitch several times. Keisha said she was mad at the world because she was a victim of the system and does not trust anyone. An autopsy determined that Melody's manner of death was a homicide, and the cause of death was closed head trauma due to assault. Lee will serve her 18-year sentence at the Minnesota Correctional Facility. "82-year-old Sylvia Friends has been found dead in a trash bag inside a manhole of their home, and her 54-year-old son Richard Vanderveld has been charged with her murder. On the 29th of May 2018, Sylvia's daughter reported her missing to the authorities, who went to Sylvia's home in Grand Junction, Colorado to search for her. When they arrived, they discovered a foul smell in the bedroom and a brown stain that covered most of the floor. The stain was tested for blood, but the results came back negative. Shortly thereafter, Richard was seen driving his mother's car in Missouri, and later told police his mother was in California visiting a friend. The authorities said that Richard used his mother's debit cards and withdrew over $10,000 from her bank account. When police asked about the card usage, Richard said that his mother authorised him to use it. Years passed by with no sign of Sylvia. Then on the 26th of April 2022, the current owners of Sylvia's home contacted the authorities after finding a trash bag in a manhole, which was about 6 feet deep, that contained human remains. After completing DNA testing, they confirmed the remains were that of Sylvia. An autopsy determined that she died from blunt force trauma to the head. On the 29th of May, police located Richard in Florida and arrested him. Richard is charged with first-degree murder, abuse of a corpse, and several fraud and theft charges. On the 3rd of June, Richard was extradited back to Colorado, and he's been held on a $1 million bond at the Mesa County Detention Center. He's due in court on the 21st of June. The authorities are investigating a drive-by shooting that left one teen dead and another injured. At just after 3 p.m. on the 10th of June 2022, in the 800 block of Bridge Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, there were at least a dozen teenagers playing on the porch, as well as others playing nearby, when a blue Chevy comes down the street and slows down with a gun protruding out the window and opens fire. The gunfire struck 14-year-old Bobby Yokin in the leg, as well as his chest. He was transported to the local hospital but died a short time later. A 15-year-old girl was also shot. She got hit in the eye, but she survived. A neighbour, Michelle Castro, said that Bobby was the type of kid that always offered to help elderly and disabled people. The authorities said they don't have a motive for the drive-by shooting. Captain John Walker of the Philadelphia Police Department said, "It's summertime. Kids are just getting out of school. They should just be enjoying themselves on a beautiful day. We're dealing with kids going to hospital, family members going to the hospital to deal with tragic incidents." The suspects remain at large as the investigation into the matter continues.